Hi, everyone. My name is Mel Robertson, and I'd like to welcome you to Happiness is Your Own Damn Fault. What we're talking about is how to drop the baggage, increase your frequency, and live a bliss-filled life. Now, I decided to put this summit together because I want you to know that happiness is equally available to every single one of us, no matter the circumstances that we've endured. So no matter what you've been through, you can still choose happiness now, because happiness is your birthright. It is your natural state of being underneath all the baggage you've been dragging around with you for all those years. So what I wanted to do was interview people who are truly happy and get them to share with you their secrets on how they let go of the past, stopped worrying about the future, and started living their bliss. And today I'm so excited to welcome Dr. Pamela Moss. And I chose her because it is her personal mission to help people see their true radiance and lift the illusions of fear, doubt, and separation so they can love their lives and make the difference they're here to make. Dr. Pamela Moss joyfully expresses her purpose as the soul guide. She is a transformational mentor, life purpose activator, and deep healing and awakening alchemist for clients around the globe. Her unique work is featured in the #1 mysticism bestseller, The Vision Board, Secret to an Extraordinary Life, as well as college textbooks in the forthcoming book, The Soul Guide to a Magical Life and The Soul Guide to Soulmates and Sacred Unions. She's also appeared in numerous international telesummits and sharing the stage with Lisa Sasevich and John Assaraf of The Secret. Pamela's particular mission is to light up the light. She is passionately committed to support people who are here to light up others, such as coaches, healers, consultants, therapists, writers, visionaries. She's honored to help you do the deep work to access all of your inner guidance and overcome all your inner obstacles so you can be the divine messenger and agent of transformation you were born to be. Having been called to this work and successfully realizing her own dreams, Pamela is profoundly grateful to share her powerful tools, methods, intuition, and insight, and her deep love of people to serve the awakening and healing of as many lives as possible so we can together co-create the better world our hearts know is possible. Welcome, Dr. Pamela. It's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you. I'm really delighted to be here, Mel. Thank you for that introduction. I think what I should do is I want to tell people what I'm going to talk about today is the 7 secrets to grow your dreams into reality. And really, they're also about how to be your best self, which is really how anything you want in life happens. When you're talking about being happy, it really is all about you finding the truth of who you are and not being lost in the past or fearing the future. So we're very much aligned about this. And I want to tell you a bit about who I am and how did I get to be the soul guide. I never set out to do that. Imagine I would grow up and be the soul guide. So 10 years ago, I was a homeschooling mom. And I was pretty insecure, actually, and I had no idea what I wanted to do when I, quote, grew up. And I secretly doubted that anybody would ever pay me money because what marketable skills did I have and who was I to deserve that? I really couldn't even imagine being where I am right now, much less being able to talk to you like this. So I want you to know, if you're listening to this, that you may be feeling kind of lost in your life or stuck or confused or worried or upset or powerless in some area. And it absolutely is possible for you to have a life far beyond what you can even imagine right now. And we're going to talk about how does that happen. And this is also for you if you're navigating through any kind of major life change or you want to start the next phase of your life or in business, and you need a clear vision and overall picture about how to move into that and more clarity about what that looks like. And this is also going to be for you if you've realized that you lost yourself somewhere along your marriage or your career, and it's time to figure out who are you now and what do you want to do with the rest of your precious life. So the way that I got to where I am now, which is nothing I could have predicted in advance, is by following the 7 secrets, although I had no idea I was even doing that at first. And I'm really excited to share them with you because working with these 7 secrets I'm going to share with you and the specific tools I'm going to show you today, you're going to actually have an experience today. I'm not just going to talk to you. You're going to have some deep experiences. They are what opened the door for me to everything, becoming an entrepreneur. I never imagined that. the bestsellers, the wonderful clients around the world, joint ventures with amazing people, speaking on stage with John Asseroff, all this stuff. And then on a personal level, they're also what guided me to lead a 28-year marriage with love and mutual respect and peace. And then meeting my soulmate on my first date in 29 years.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And we just got married 6 months ago. And really one of the amazing things about following this path is miracles happen. And one of the miracles that happened was my two husbands, my former husband and my new husband, were both at the wedding, and they spontaneously danced together in this beautiful way. It was just, it blew my mind.
Oh, wow.
Laughing, and I was just crying. so all kinds of things are possible for you beyond what you know now. I want you to know that. We're going to talk about how does that happen. And this is not just work for me. Over the years that I've used these tools, I've seen this work for hundreds and hundreds of women and men from all different countries, all different life situations, all different shapes and backgrounds and ages. And I'm going to share a few of their stories as we go. So I want to tell you some specifics of what I'm going to teach you today. So you're going to learn the 7 secrets that you need to be truly happy, which just means to be your best, most fulfilled self and grow your dreams into reality. So let's see what I want to start with. I'm going to teach you the 7 secrets, of course, and you're also going to learn the number one reason that most people don't have what they want, the life or the partner or the work that they desire. And you're going to learn the 3 common pitfalls that stop most people from ever fulfilling their dreams. And you're going to learn the single most important thing you can do to start being your best self, your happiest self, and living your best life. So there's a lot to cover, and my promise to you is I'm going to give you all that I can in the time that we have. And before we go, I promise that for those of you who want more, I'm going to show you where you can get it. I have some really amazing free gifts for you so you can apply this to your life, not just hear about it, but actually use the things I'm going to tell you in your life. So let's get started.
Excellent. I'm super excited. Let's go.
Great. Okay, good. So I'm going to first give you a quick overview of the 7 secrets, starting with where they came from. So I'm assuming, Mel, that you've heard of vision boards and that your listeners have too. Does everybody know what a vision? Yeah, so it's a visual reminder of what you want to create or manifest in your life. And I've led vision board workshops for many hundreds of individuals and organizations, and I've seen people create amazing successes, like getting their dream job, or have a baby when they'd really given up hope practically, or finding their soulmate in an unexpected way, or losing 70 pounds and running a half marathon, or tripling the profitability of their business, or starting a whole new life. And on the other hand, I've also seen people who didn't do anything at all. In fact, they were really embarrassed about their vision board and put it in their closet or threw it out. So it really struck me. They went to the same workshop. Some people achieved remarkable results. Other people had no results or very few. And I started investigating because I was curious, like, what happened? Why such different results? And as I interviewed people, what I found out is that the people who were successful were intuitively following what I came to call the 7 secrets. And I realized that I'd been doing that myself, but I was missing one of them, which was causing me to struggle a lot. and I realized, and I learned from hearing other people, like, oh, yeah, I'm missing that step. I definitely see that. And I realized I need to teach this. Because if you don't do this intuitively, it's really a disservice not to know what the 7 secrets are. Because you could have all the dreams and hopes in the world. Your walls could be lined with vision boards, but if you don't know the 7 secrets, they aren't going to happen. So if you use the 7 secrets I'm about to teach you, you will have the clarity and the confidence and the deep guidance and support that you may have been missing so you can take effective action and get remarkable results to grow your dreams into reality and have what I call a magical life. So I want you to listen to these and see which you might be missing, because that's where you struggle. And that's so you want to listen as I'm telling you these 7 secrets and say, I wonder which of those maybe I don't have or I'm not very strong in. And they follow a gardening metaphor because I love to garden. So secret number 1 is about digging. And just like when you want to prepare a new garden, then you've got to dig down and turn the soil over and prepare it and get it ready to be planting something in it. Digging is about preparing the soil to grow what you want. And we literally have to do this for ourselves. We have to dig down in ourselves and uncover, where are we now? What do we want? What's in the way of having it? You have to dig down to the truth and get real with yourself. And this is important because all transformation begins with being willing to tell yourself the truth about where you are, what you have, what you don't have, what's really going on, how it feels, without fantasy, without fear, just this is what it is. And this is actually a big pitfall that stops most people from living the life they love. They actually fail to dig. They never get real with themselves. And if you don't dig down and get honest with yourself, you have no power to create change. And you'll just continue to muddle along. You'll think of yourself as a victim of your circumstances, never take control of your life. And the truth is, you are not a helpless victim, even if you feel like it. So digging is where you get real with yourself about that. And you also begin to open yourself up to something different and better is possible. Like what might you actually want rather than what you think you have to settle for. And giving ourselves permission to want something is huge for most women. We really have been not trained to do that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right. So that's secret number one. You're going to have an experience of digging in our conversation today. So that's secret number one. Secret number two is, I call it seed. It's about planting the seed, seeing your clear vision, what you really desire. And the seed it contains everything in it. Like, the clear vision contains the whole future, the whole new reality you're creating. And to plant this seed, you have to get clear about what do you really want. And I want to tell you something. It's not what you think. No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you more about what I mean about that, and we're going to go into this in more detail. But the way that you're going to do it, you get that clear vision of what you really want is something called visioning, which is about tapping into your own deep knowing, your own deep guidance, the part of you that knows more than your mind. And then from that, creating a clear vision of that, which you can express on a vision board. And it's called a seed because everything grows out of that clear desire, that essence of what you want, that clear vision. So we're going to talk more about that today.
And I love to use the analogy of a seed because a seed within it contains everything, even for, for procreation, for it to keep recreating itself. It's all potentiality is within that seed, everything.
Exactly,
I love it.
It's true. Well, it's really true. When we create a clear intention, a clear vision, it really does contain within it huge potential. But the resources, the people, the opportunities, everything you need to grow that. You don't get that idea, I don't believe, unless you have the capacity, not just in yourself, but through your life to grow into that. Like we only have those clear seeds because they have the potential to to really grow beyond what we can even know. So we'll talk more about that. That is the part, this pure possibility. It's so exciting. I'd love to talk about it. So the third secret is what I call weeding. So seed is number 2, weed is number 3. Because you know what happens when you get a clear vision and you start to take action on it? Well, actually, what happens for most people is all the reasons you can't do it and it won't work and you don't deserve it anyway come up to stop you. And it is essential to uproot these weeds, your subconscious fears and doubts, your secret sense of unworthiness, all that internal resistance, because if you don't, it will continue to hold you back. You will be like trying to drive with your foot on the brakes. And I'm going to go into more detail on that later today. We're going to talk about the 5 R's to remove your resistance, which is how do we get rid of these weeds, because we cannot move forward if we continue to try to grow through this thicket of weeds. It's just, it's going to be really hard. So secret number 4 is about watering, which is how you water your dreams. Well, basically that means taking inspired action, persistently taking what's the next indicated step. And we'll talk a little bit about that too. And part of watering is also creating a circle of support around you that keeps you moving forward with power. And your circle of support, sometimes as we move forward into a new dream, we realize that people around us really don't support us. In fact, they're like, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? And so on. And if you don't find some people in your life, new friends, mentors, accountability partners, community, if you don't find some new people to support you stepping into that new dream, it's going to be so hard. So that's watering. Is about creating that circle of support and taking inspired actions to move forward. Then secret number 5 is feeding. So just like when you grow plants, after a while they need some nourishment, they need some fertilizing. This is about nourishing yourself. If you don't nourish yourself along the way, you're going to be exhausted and burned out. And nourishing yourself, there's a lot of ways to do that. The basic ways I talk about are what I call the 3 Ps, which is simple pleasures, nurturing practices, things that you do regularly that just because they make you feel good, and the power of play, like actually allowing yourself to be playful in your life instead of thinking it's all so serious and heavy and important, because it's really not.
The power of play is so important. I love that.
Yeah. And then there's 2 more secrets in these 7 secrets. Secret number 6 is called pruning. And just like when you're growing a plant or a tree and you want to grow it so you have the most fruit, the most juicy, beautiful fruit, or the biggest flowers, you prune it so all that life force energy goes into a fewer vines or fewer branches instead of like all over the place. We need pruning too to go into our most beautiful flowers, gifts, and our most delicious fruits that we have to offer to the world and to ourselves. And the way we prune is actually by tapping into our inner guidance. Our inner guidance, which helps us grow in the most beautiful way. That our mind alone, our egos alone cannot show us that way, but our inner guidance can. And I have a gift that's going to help you do that too, so I'll talk about that toward the end. But then the final secret, number 7, this is what I've learned from talking to many people about what worked, is to harvest. And harvesting is about gathering in the gifts and the lessons along the way, because that way you grow and you actually multiply your blessings. And we're not going to talk in huge detail about that today, but I think you can feel that if you actually learn things along the way, life will be much more satisfying than if you don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the first 3 secrets. And I call them actually the 3 critical keys to unlock your clarity and confidence. And we're going to dive into those because I want you to get real value out of our time today. So remember I was talking about secret number 1, which is about digging down, which is when you dig down, you get real with yourself. And that's the one where all change and all new possibility begins with being willing to tell yourself the truth, laying aside your fantasies and fears to see what's actually going on in your life or your work, what you have or don't have, because it's probably going to continue that way unless you decide that you see clearly it's not what you want and you want to make a shift. So if you're just unconscious about it, it's going to stay that way. So this also means seeing what really matters to you, where you want to be and how it feels, how you feel about all of it. So we're going to begin by doing an exercise to help you do some digging right now. And our digging tool is not a shovel. It's 5 thoughtful questions for you to answer. And I want you to know that you don't have to show your answers to anybody. It's just for you, obviously. And Mel, I know you said you're willing to do this, and as you should pick something that, I'll tell you more about what we're going to do in a moment, but I want you to know that I really appreciate that you volunteered to kind of be a guinea pig, and I want our listeners to know that it takes a certain amount of courage to say, sure, I'll do that and talk about my answers. I have no idea what you're asking me. So thanks for your like yes to that without knowing quite what you're saying yes to. And I want you to know too, Mel, that you don't have to share anything you don't want to, because it may be personal, and just obviously share what you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. In any way that can help, people see the process. And I mean, I really feel that like my experience in life, if I can't share it, then how can people learn from it? So the best way is to learn.
That's a great. It's a great attitude to have. It really is, and that's true for all of us. Okay, so this process for some people might feel a bit hard or scary, but just know, I promise, you're not going to dig up or uncover anything you don't want to see, because you just won't.
And your subconscious won't let you.
Exactly. You will keep it unconscious if you don't want to be aware of it. And digging is just the necessary first step to transform areas of your life that are frustrating or unfulfilling, and the rewards of doing the digging are really great. So let's get started. So here comes the first question. I'd like you, if you don't have anything to write with right now, you want to grab something to write, because we're going to do a couple of really powerful writing exercises. So this first digging exercise, what I want you to write about is I'm going to ask you, what is frustrating in your life right now? What are your challenges? So just take a moment to jot down, what's frustrating? What are my challenges? And now, when you've written that, if you're ready to share something about that, that would be helpful. And, whatever you're willing to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, like one of my biggest challenges being an entrepreneur and being new as an entrepreneur in the last couple of years is really struggling to balance like my time in my work and my time for my relationship. Because I have time freedom, I don't have like a structured day like 9 to 5. That's not how I operate. My wife and I have a lot of free time together during the day. I struggle really finding the boundaries and being able to like say, no, I need to go work right now and not give in and go hang out and play and really staying focused and finding a balance in that and finding the time freedom that's going to work, because I don't want to be a 9 to 5 person. Like that's the reason why I left working for someone else, is that I want the time freedom to, we want to go for a walk in the middle of the day, or we want to go do this. I want to have that freedom, but then I have the challenge of making up the time or making sure I'm getting enough time in my work and feeling like I'm giving enough time to my business and making sure I'm a supportive partner for my wife and being a wife. So balancing all that is my biggest challenge right now.
Yeah, really great. And I can feel like that really is a challenge. Great. So what do you want in that area? Just take a moment to write down what, like 2, 3, or 4 sort of goals. Like what would you ideally want to be true in this area of finding balance in your time and in your work and relationship? And if you're listening, what do you want in this area that you said was frustrating? So just take a moment to think about that. What do I want?
I do really want the time freedom. It's so important for me to have the time freedom during the day to be able to do the things. But then it's like I really want to make sure that I'm, dedicating enough time in my business, and how much time should I be spending in my business, and how much time should I be, you know what I mean? Because at work, when you're an employee, you have to show up and punch a clock, and you're there for 8 hours. And when you're your own boss, you don't have anybody telling you how much work you need to do. And, when you're new at it, it gets overwhelming. Am I putting enough time in? Did I miss anything? And, I need to shut it off now and go be with my wife and be present for her and not be thinking about work after hours. And so I want to have the freedom to be able to go and play in the middle of the day when that comes up, but also know that I'm getting everything that I need done. And also, when I'm done, being able to shut that off and not have to check emails and not have to take phone calls and doing any of that stuff, and be completely present with my time with my wife and having that balance.
Yeah, okay, so what I heard about this is you want to have the freedom to be able to be spontaneous, like to go and play in the middle of the day, for example. But you also want to know that you are really getting everything done in your business that you need to do, so that takes the dedication and the focus to do that, along with the spontaneity of going off to play. And you want to know how I can really shut off what I'm doing in my work and give my full presence to my wife and be really there with her. And so I'm really on my business when I'm doing my business, and I'm really with my wife when I'm doing that, and I can both be very focused and have this play time.
And the challenge with that all is because we both work from home, we both have a lot of time freedom, and so it's really easy to put work off and go play.
Yes, I can see the temptation. Yeah, great. So okay, good. So if you're listening, you want to know for yourself, what do I want in this area? And then the next question is, I'm going to ask you, for you to, because what you want, Mel, is you're talking about balance. This is true for any of us. We're literally saying, on one hand, I want this, on the other hand, I want that. Sort of balancing it back and forth. So the next question is, what's in your way of having, in this case for you, Mel, the balance that you desire? And for everybody else, think, what's in your way of having what you want?
What's in my way, I think, because with the work piece, being an entrepreneur, it's so new, and I'm always afraid that I'm missing something or I'm not getting everything done. So there's all this fear that, I'm not structuring my day right, I'm not putting enough effort in, I'm not getting enough done, I have all this workload. So it's all this fear that, I'm not getting the stuff done that I need to do, and I'm not putting in enough effort, or I'm going to fail, or all that stuff. And so that when I do have the spontaneity, it's in the middle of the day where we get to go do something, I get nervous and I'm anxious that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm not going to be able to get done what I need to get done. So there's the fear there that is getting in my way. I can't be present with my wife when I go be spontaneous because I'm worrying about this thing that I need to get done or this deadline coming up.
Yeah.
So my fear is in my way, and the unknown and not knowing what I'm doing all the time.
Very good. So the fear is literally keeping you from being present. It's really keeping you from being present with your wife, obviously. It's also kind of keeping you from being present even in what you're doing, it sounds like, in the work, because you're thinking, well, I'm not doing enough, and I'm overwhelmed. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Really, really good. And is the fear caused because you don't know what to do? Like, do you know what to do, or is it that do you know what the source of fear is?
The fear is like I'm doing new projects and stuff, so there's a lot of new things that I need to learn, and there's a lot of new deadlines, and so it's all so new to me, like doing entrepreneurship in a way that I'm doing it now, and being focused and doing teleseminars like this and telesummits and stuff like that, all the work involved, and I just feel like I'm missing a step, or I'm not because I get overwhelmed, then I'm not present, and then I'm not able to really get clear about all the responsibilities that I have. And finally I'll get to a place where I'm okay, these are the things that need to be done in the next couple days, and I can do the next thing in the next couple days, but I still have this sense of overwhelm, because it's something new, I'm learning something new, it's over, I'm missing something, or I didn't do this, or this deadline's coming up.
Yeah. Okay, good. So there's a whole world there, which we're not going to go into in detail now, but primarily there's fear and overwhelm are what's in your way, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Good. So then there's two more questions for the digging process. The fourth question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all important and 10 being oh my God, super important, how important is it to you to start making positive change, to be able to manage, in this case, your fear and your overwhelm, or to learn from them, whatever it is, so they don't have to be so intense? So
this isn't number 10. It's in the forefront for me.
Okay. And why is, you say it's in the forefront? So this is super important and in the forefront of your life. So you're aware it's an issue. Okay. And there's one more question for the digging process: is what would be the cost to you if you don't do something about it?
Well, the cost to me, it's detrimental to my relationship, and it's detrimental to my business. So if I'm not able to manage this fear and this overwhelm, then I don't get the responsibilities that I need to get done in my business, and so I miss deadlines, and I don't make the money that I'm supposed to make, which puts stress on my relationship. But also, that not being able to manage that fear and overwhelm keeps me from being able to be present and connected to my wife, because I'm worried and in my own head, worrying about my own stuff and being selfish, instead of being able to connect with her and have, connection and intimacy with her.
Right. And that's really great. Interesting you said that was selfish for you to be worried about your business and your concerns too. I'm just noticing that's a judgment you have of yourself, which adds a whole other layer of suffering.
So remove the selfish judgment.
Well, just noticing, we do that on top of our suffering, we blame ourselves for that suffering.
Right.
It's just this is what we do. So good. And there's one more thing I would add to that. Like you said, there's a cost to your relationship and your business, which are the obvious things you're trying to balance. I wonder if there's also a cost even to your health. If you have that much fear and anxiety, I don't know how much it is for you. It may not be, but if that continues for a long time, when we have a lot of fear and overwhelm, we can sometimes experience physical sensations, not sleep well, other things like that too. So it may not be true for you, but there's also sometimes secondary costs that we don't see right away if we continue to have a certain situation that's not working for us continue. And you don't have to answer that, just pointing out for everybody listening, there's the obvious things that are costs, and there's also more subtle costs too sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't have any physical symptoms, except that it can make me tired when I'm, in fear and overwhelmed. But the other thing that I notice too is that when I'm really in the fear and overwhelm, even when I wake up in the morning, because most days I wake up and I'm in a really chipper, happy mood, but when I'm in the fear and overwhelm, I wake up in dread already. The minute my eyes open, that feeling of dread and fear is already there. What am I going to miss? What am I going to screw up? What do I need to get done? So it affects the minute that I wake up.
Yeah, I felt that myself, and I'm sure our listeners can relate too. When you're in that state, it's like bubbling up in your unconscious before you've been fully awake. You're like, oh! Yeah.
Why am I feeling this way?
Yeah, and that subconscious pressure that you can feel, it comes there as you're just beginning to wake up. It's just coming right up in dread. That is a powerful force. And that is something we're going to talk about. We talk about the 5 R's to remove your resistance. That's what we're talking about. If you don't deal with that kind of stuff, that's like a serious weed that is blocking your success in this area, because dread, fear, overwhelm, those are very draining things you have to sort of push hard to get through, and they're whatever. You know that they're hard, and you already know they're expand in importance. So that's what we're doing right now in this dig process, is just noticing, like, what's there that I'm trying to ignore and don't want to deal with, but if I look at it like, wow, that's really impacting me and I need to do something about it. And then we're going to see what you can do about it. So that's the power of dig. Maybe not pleasant, but necessary to see, wow, that's not working so well. Okay, so now we're going to look at the second secret in a bit more detail, just about creating that seed, planting the seed to grow your dreams into reality by seeing a clear vision of what you really want. And this means, in this case, in this area that you have just talked about. So in this area of feeling of trying to balance and have time freedom and also do what you need to do in your business. So a clear vision of what you really want is how do I say this? I'll just talk about this. The way that comes to me right now is getting a clear vision is a process called visioning, which is how you tap into your imagination and your inner knowing and your deepest desires to see what do you really want and how is it going to feel to have it. And why this matters is because if you don't get clear deep down about what you really want, you're very unlikely to get it. And in fact, this clarity is so essential that not doing the seed step, the secret, is the number one reason that most people don't have the life or the work or whatever that they want, that they desire, because they don't take the time to envision and get clear about what do I really want. And then I mentioned before that what you really want is not what you really think. And that's a big, almost universal pitfall. So let me just talk about some of the things we tend to think that we want. Like you mentioned, time freedom. One of the things we often think we want is, I want more time. Or in your case, it's not so much more time as the freedom to just be flexible is what I'm hearing, but it could be more time too. Anyway, we often think we want more money or more time. That's something almost everybody thinks they want. We often think we want a certain kind of body, like an ideal weight, 20 years younger, or we want a certain kind of car or a house or a partner who's like X, Y, and Z, characteristics. So everybody has things that they think they want. And here's an interesting thing to take in. Actually, we want those things, the time, the money, the partner who's got these characteristics, the body that looks like that, the house, the car, whatever. We want those things because we think they're going to make us feel a certain way if we have them. For example, time. Like if you had all the time in the world, which you do have, all the time there is, or money, for example. I'll just take one example. There's so many examples. But for example, money. For some people, having a certain amount of money would mean like they'd have status and respect. Like, then people would take me seriously because I have this much money. For others, it'd be about freedom. And for others, it'd be about they could be generous if they had that much money. Or for someone else, it'd be about having, creating beauty in your environment. So it can mean many different things. And by the way, time and money are never what we really want. Because what we really want is, what would you use them for? What would you use? If you had time freedom, what would you use it for? So that's what really points to what you really want. And that's true if you think about like having, like anything that we think we want, the body or the car or the house, it's really a symbol for what we really want. Because what we really want is how we would feel if we had that. So, for example, if you think what you really want is to lose a certain amount of weight, what you really want is to feel how you would feel if you lost that weight. Then I'd be confident, and then I'd feel healthy, and then I'd feel sexy or beautiful or worthy or whatever. So all these things, the thing that you will feel when you have what you think you want, that is the essence of what you really want. So. And it really is. And the thing that's important about that, the reason why that matters, is because if you think the symbol is going to give you what you want, you're often wrong. So if you think if I get to that ideal weight, then I'm going to be happy, or then I'm going to feel desirable, or whatever. If I actually get that car, that house, whatever, then I'm going to, feel powerful or worthy or whatever it is. the reason that matters is because you can get that thing that you think you want, and after the initial rush of achieving your goal, you might feel no more confident or desirable or deserving than before you spent all that time and money to get it. So we're really just not wise enough to know the best way that essence can be delivered to us. So
and then you feel like you need more money and more time because you've got what you wanted. Now you're back to square one. Oh, now I need more money. Now I need more time.
Exactly. You got it. And what you really want is, it's probably really something more like you were talking about, being really present with your wife. Like probably what you really desire is something like that connection that's possible when you're really present, and the fun of that. And that is more important to you. The time is not necessarily really the issue. It's like, can I, being really present with her, really having a good time, sweet times. That is probably what's really more the essence of what you want. I'm just guessing, but when you get clear about the essence of what you want, there's a couple of good things that happen out of that. One of them is you realize, like, I don't have to get somewhere to have that. I don't have to, have more time or more money or buy that car or lose that weight. I could have it right now. I really could. It's available right now, which is really awesome. It's not somewhere to get to. And the other thing is you can take your focus off of these things that you think you want or need to be happy, and actually allow yourself to experience that happiness even in the midst of not having the things you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they are
absolutely.
not the source of it. They are not the source of it. And I want to give you an example from a client of mine. This is just, it's funny and kind of cool to see how this works. So I had this client, Mary, who she went through my whole process and made a vision board, and the vision board was all about adventure. And she was also starting to date, and she wanted to date, and she thought what she wanted. Here's the thing. She thought what she wanted was somebody who was kind of like a professor, because she's very interested in culture and learning, and even though she hadn't finished college at the time herself, she loved to read and so on. And she was, actually she'd gone back to college. She was going back to college to finish it. But she really wanted to date someone who was very educated, like a professor. And she dated some very nice professors, but they were not really clicking exactly. And then out of following adventure, the essence of what she wanted in her life, she decided to go take sailing lessons. And guess what? The sailing instructor turned out to be her soulmate, her future husband. And he's someone who never went to college. He actually was in the Merchant Marine, traveled the world. As he's a self-taught, amazing human being, very wise. But she would have totally overlooked him if she just stayed looking for what she thought she wanted.
Yeah.
But the essence of what she wanted, adventure, led her more, her heart knew what she needed, even though her mind didn't. And that could lead her to what she really wanted. So that's another powerful thing about getting the essence of what you want, is it leads you to what you deeply want rather than what you think you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that you talk about that, because that's something that I do with my clients. Is I talk to them about, instead of, especially because a lot of people don't know what they want, so I talk to them about, well, instead of like thinking about all these details of what you want, think about how you want to feel in your life. What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel joy? Do you want to feel love? Do you want to feel abundance? Like, what are the feelings you want to feel? And start bringing those up in your body and feeling that energy in your body and bringing that up and spending time. Even if you can't visualize, you can feel.
Yes,
so bring the feelings up. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we totally understand it, and this is something for listeners that's super important for you. This is the first critical key. It's about doing visioning, whether it's in your body or visually, to see, to get the essence of what you want, and then what you want to experience more of. And I find it's also very powerful to create a visual reminder of that, which is a visual vision board, which reminds you when you forget what it feels like. Oh yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what it feels, and how great it feels. And basically, when you're making a vision board of the essence of what you want, rather than the stuff people usually put on vision boards, which is pictures of the things they think they want, when you make a vision board of the essence of what you desire, you focus all parts of your mind, your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, and your superconscious mind, which is the highest part of you, on finding experiences and opportunities that will satisfy that essence of what you desire. Like Mary finding the essence of what I want is adventure. And then that helps her see this. And I can give you another example. Yeah, I give you one more example of this. When you have that kind of deep clarity about what you really want, the essence, which how you feel when you have the things you think you want, it can create remarkably quick results. I remember another client who went to a visioning workshop, and it was like she carpooled to get there. And while she was in the workshop, she got very clear that what she really wanted, the thing she dug down saw that was not working in her life, was she had a lot of debt. And she was terrified, like, how am I going to deal with this? And she really wanted to be debt-free. And she made this vision board that just showed this huge open blue sky and a woman leaping across it. It was just a very powerful image of what it'd be like to be free of debt. So on the car, this is how powerful it is to create that clear vision. So on the car ride back from the workshop, she was in the back seat. There were two people sitting in the front, and they were talking about something that normally she would never have been interested in. She was going to take a nap. They were talking about refinancing their homes. And because she just created a really powerful image for herself of what it would be like and what it would feel like to be debt-free, her subconscious mind was sort of looking around like, how could I do that? How could I do that? So she listened and she heard, and they're talking about refinancing their homes. She thought, I wonder if I could roll my debt somehow into refinancing my home. So basically the next day she called her banker. Sure enough, she could. And she had a plan to be debt-free, like the next day.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and that's the power of having this deep clarity. And so that's, and one of the gifts that I have for everybody listening is what I call my vision board masterclass. It's called Why Vision Boards Don't Work and How to Make One That Will Change Your Life. And in that masterclass, I walk you through the exact 4 steps to get really clear about what you really want. That's not what you think. And that involves doing this deep visioning and coming up with finding in the deep visioning exercises what the essence is. And the essence is really, it's remarkably simple how you find it. If you guide people through some visioning exercises, some written visioning exercises, and you go back and you circle the words that are resonant for you or that repeat a lot, they point to the essence of what you want. It's really cool. And then from that, you can make a vision board, finding images that are resonant and powerful that express that essence. So the Vision Board Masterclass shows you exactly how to do this and how to create a vision board that will really remind you the essence of what you want and also guide you on your soul's journey and help you fulfill your deepest desires beyond even what you know. So that's one of the gifts I'm going to give you. And at the end of this talk, I'll tell you how to get that. And but what I also want to talk about is when I found out many people fell down after doing visioning because they didn't do the next 2 important things, which are weeding and watering. So that's what I want to talk about now, how to water your dream with persistent, inspired action. And actually, I'm thinking because of time, what I really want to do most is I'm going to skip to secret number 3, which is uprooting your fears and doubts, weeding those fears and doubts, because if you don't, you're going to have such a hard time. And this is what you were pointing to, Mel, about the fears and the overwhelm and the judgments and all those things. So when you were listening to listeners, whenever you were doing the dig exercise around, when you talked about what was in your way of having what you want, if you thought it was something outside of yourself, like not having enough time or money, that's not the real reason. Because if you really want something with all of your heart and you have grit to keep going for it, you will find the time and money to make it happen. You can overcome huge challenges if you have a clear vision and you take inspired action and keep believing in yourself. But mostly we don't do that. We don't keep taking action or following our inspired vision because of our fears and our doubts and our shame, also known as self-sabotage or limiting beliefs, such as you're selfish or you're not doing it right or you're an idiot or you're such a mess or all the things, the mean things we tell ourselves. And many of them we're not even fully conscious of. So and failing to weed these fears and doubts will definitely stop you from growing the life you love or make it much more difficult. And that's why getting tangled up in the weeds of limiting beliefs and painful emotions is such a common pitfall. And so many people's dreams never get beyond fantasies. And eventually they completely forget them because it's painful to remember them. All this happens because they don't know how to weed. So I'm going to tell you how, and I'm going to give you an experience too. So there's 5 ways to do weeding. There's 5 R's to remove your resistance. And you can listen and you may have some experience with some of them. I hope you do. So the first R to remove your resistance is what I call resolve. It's just resolutely taking action, even though you're scared. For example, when I first started doing public speaking, I remember the first time I stood up to talk, and my heart was pounding so loudly, I literally couldn't hear my voice. My own voice.
Oh, wow.
Just ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And I was sure that my face was red and whatever, but I did continue to speak, and it got quieter, and I realized, like, wow, I can do that, and people even clapped when I sat down. So I didn't die. So that, resolute action is taking action, even though you're scared, and discovering, oh, I can do this. That's one way to get through the weeds. It's a really hard way to do it, but it works. Then the second R of the 5 R's to remove your resistance is to release. And releasing is when you loosen the grip of your fears, your doubts, your anger, whatever. Many ways to do this. You might be familiar with it. Everybody's like, you just sigh. You're literally letting go of some of that. If you cry, you're doing some releasing. If you're, EFT can help people do releasing. There's lots of ways. In 12 Steps programs, you talk about letting go and letting God. There's all ways to release, to let go of some of the grip of your fears and doubts and so on. Helps you think better and feel better too, but it's temporary is the only downside, because you're not going to the real source of what's causing all that stuff, so you're just letting it go, and then it will eventually come back up like that dread in the morning. So releasing feels a lot better when you do it, but it's temporary. So, and then the third R, to remove your resistance, is called reframing, and this is also often used in coaching, and this is how you find a whole new way to see whatever disempowering or scary situation you're in, that gives you the power to stop sabotaging yourself and taking more effective action. And I can think of there's many examples of that, but I want to give you the experience. I'm just going to give the outline, but it's often hard by ourselves to reframe our situation, to find a new way to see it so we can take action. That's where it really helps to have somebody in your life who can see the situation from a different place than you can, such as a mentor or coach or a friend who's wise. Then the fourth R is replacing. And replacing is you can actually go into your subconscious mind. You can work directly with your subconscious mind to replace beliefs and patterns that are disempowering you, right at the source of where you created them. And this can look like working with subconscious parts of you, like your inner child, to heal old wounds and so you feel whole and truly happy. It can also look like creating change on a subconscious level, including there's lots of transformational processes that can do that. And when you make these kind of changes, when you make these internal changes, you will powerfully change how things show up in your life. And on my website, which is thesoulguide.com, I have 50 client stories of people how profoundly making changes on this subconscious level created changes in their lives. And this is just a small sample of people who've done this kind of work. If you work on a subconscious level, you're going right to the source of the fears and doubts and so on. And you can quickly and permanently make changes. Deep, sacred work, and then I give you a taste of it. And then the fifth R is realizing, which is just you wake up and you realize, wow, whatever I was scared or angry about is an illusion. How about that? It's not true. It's my fears and doubts are projecting and creating something. The truth is you are love. The divine is in you and everyone else. Everything that happens to you is for your growth. All is well, despite how it may seem. And when we can see that, we actually wake up. We see with our real eyes, and we realize that's the fifth R. So do I have time to give people a quick experience of what it's like to do a little bit of replacing?
Absolutely.
Okay, I really want to do this. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
please do. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to you're going to do this, we're going to do an exercise, a powerful exercise called the 5 Senses to Clarity. And I want you to do it either for what you dug up that's stressful for you in your dig process. You can either do it for that, to something that's not working so well, or you can do it for a dream or a goal that you have that you want to fulfill. So basically, what you're going to do is, I'm going to lead you through this process. And if you're doing it for the stressful situation, like for Mel, if you're doing it for this fear and this overwhelm and this anxiety you have about trying to balance and find the time freedom, if you do it for that, what I want you to do is I want you to do it imagining the situation just isn't stressful. You don't have to know what that looks like. You want to do it you want to take this stressful situation. You're going to answer the questions I'm going to ask you for imagining what it would be like if this situation just wasn't stressful.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, so right now you don't know what that means because it is stressful, but you're going to get much clearer about that. And so listeners, either do this exercise for your situation that's stressful, imagining it not being stressful and answering the questions, what would it be like if it was not stressful? Or you can do it for some dream or goal that you have. Okay, so is that clear enough?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the first thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find 3 things that you will see when this goal is true or the situation is not stressful. What does that look like? And I mean literally what you see, like a photograph or a video. So it could be something you see yourself, or Mel, it could be something you see yourself and your wife doing, or it could be something that, I don't know, just something you see happening in your life or your environment, or it could be something metaphoric. It could look like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. So go ahead and write down 3 things you will see when this situation is just not stressful or when your goal or dream is fulfilled. Whatever comes to mind will be perfect.
Actual things that I'll see, or like
actual things you'll literally see, like as literally as you can, like a photograph, like you see it like a photograph or a movie. What does it look like? They may or may not really happen, but what does it look like?
What does the challenge look like? Like 3 things a challenge will look like if it's not stressful anymore? Is that
correct? Exactly.
Okay.
So take a moment to think about that. What are 3 things I will see? What are 3 things I could look like?
So the first thing would be seeing just a picture of my wife and I just being playful and enjoying each other, and I'm just completely present and unpreoccupied by anything else but our time together.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I see would be because of the time freedom I have, when I get interrupted in the middle of the day or have an opportunity to, leave my work and go do something fun, that I'm able to, that it's able to be smooth and I don't feel an interruption. I feel excitement instead of feeling overwhelmed. So I see myself getting up in excitement to go do something fun rather than the dread and fear of, if I go take this time right now, then I'm going to miss out on this. So those are the 2 things. I haven't got a third thing that came to my mind.
Okay, good.
So far.
Good. And one of the things I'm just going to tell you right now, and listeners may be able to relate to this too, to be able to have that feeling of just excitement and not fear, you probably need to listen to what the fear is trying to tell you. Because when I talked about uprooting, weeding things, one of the most powerful ways we can do that is to actually listen to our fears and doubts and see what they're trying to tell us instead of pushing them away. So and there's a process for doing that, which is basically a way of dialoguing with these subconscious parts to see what they're trying to protect you. And when you listen to them, they will stop being so noisy.
Yes.
And so that's great. So yes, so good. So 2 things you see is you being playful together, enjoying each other, and then also getting up with excitement instead of dread. And you want to, for listeners and for you too, you want to literally see what it looks like. Like, how do you know? You don't have to describe it, but how do you know it's excitement rather than dread? Like your body posture, see your expression, like really see what does it look like literally that I know that that's excitement. And then one more thing of what does it look like for that situation to just not be stressful, just not stressful, or for your dream to just be true, even though you have no idea how to get there, whatever you're writing about.
Yeah, it's just easy. It's just so easy, like seeing everything is just so easy and fun and fluid. It's just fluidity where it's just like, okay, this is what's happening right now. I can be spontaneous and go with the moment and, that's what's happening right now. And then, it's fluidity and moving without resistance and fear and contraction.
Great. So, look and see if is there an image for you of what that fluidity and ease of movement looks like. Like we're looking for something literally that you can see.
Floating clouds.
Okay, great, beautiful. Okay, so that's the visual part of the five senses to clarity. Everybody has three things. Now I'd like you to think of three things that you will hear when this is true. What does it sound like? So it could sound like something you say to yourself in your head. Could sound like something you say to somebody else or they say to you. Could sound like sounds in your environment, like applause or running water. Or it could sound like something totally metaphoric, like it could sound like a gong or heavenly choir going, hallelujah. So what does it sound like when this is no longer stressful or when your goal is true? What will you hear?
The first thing that came to my mind was, I got this.
I got this. Awesome. You say to yourself, I got this. Great.
Yeah,
Good.
I got this. I got this.
Okay.
And then the second sound was a lot of laughter and just a lot
Great.
of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And one more thing you will hear when this is true.
Calm and quiet.
So actually, does calm and quiet sound like something, or is it more of an absence of sound?
Oh, yeah, that's not really a sound.
No, it could be. It could be like, wow, I'm noticing that there's quiet.
Yeah, just the quiet and peacefulness. Yeah, the quietness.
And does that have any kind of sound for you, or is it just looking to see what does it sound like?
Probably the sound of, oh my gosh. Just
okay, good.
The sound of the universe.
Yeah, beautiful. It's whatever comes to mind, because this is actually, you're tapping, what we're doing in this process is we're telling your subconscious mind, or letting our subconscious mind help us understand what this is, what it's like for this not to be stressful, so it's much more real. So now the next thing I'd like to ask you is, when this is true, and you're seeing these things you described, and you're hearing these things that you described, how will it feel? How does it feel to just have this not be stressful, or to have this goal actually be true? What's the emotion of that?
Everything feels so easy. And it's that feeling of like ease and grace without resistance, and that just, it's that feeling of fluidity and just being able to go with the flow and spontaneity and not be worrying. And knowing that all is well and everything will be okay. Yeah,
beautiful. So that ease and grace and going with the flow, and all is well is kind of like peace. It's like, really there's, really great. So have you ever felt that before, Mel? And listeners, you want to see, like, what does it feel like for you for this to be true? And then listen to what I'm asking Mel, and ask this of yourself. So have you ever felt this before? Have you ever felt that sense of ease and grace and just going with the flow and all is well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So what I want you to do right now is to allow yourself to feel it in this moment right now, and just let me know when it's present.
It's there.
Great. Where are you feeling it in your body?
I just feel, my body just feels kind of limitless. It doesn't have boundaries.
There's no limit. So do you feel it anywhere in your body, or just the sense of your body being expanded without limits?
There's just the sense of my body being expanded.
Okay, great. Is this expanded feeling warm or cool or neutral temperature?
Warm.
Okay.
Warm and
great.
light.
And if this expansive, warm, light body feeling had a color, what color would it be?
Orange.
Orange, okay, good. And if it had a shape, what shape would it be?
It doesn't take a solid shape.
So does it have any kind of, like, you just see it like as, does it have any, I don't know, is it like...
Think about like the heat radiating from a flame, like the way the energy like flows and moves. That's kind of how it feels.
Beautiful, perfect. I got it. Yeah, that's the shape of it. That radiating energy out of a flame. Great. And if you could reach out your hand and you could touch this limitless, warm, light orange sensation in your body, like heat radiating from a flame. If you could touch it with your hand, what would it feel like?
Energizing and like electrifying.
Yeah, like electrifying. Like, would you feel it tingly, or what would you feel exactly?
Like a surge of like energy, aliveness, vibrancy.
So to your hand, when your hand is feeling that, what does it feel like to your skin or to your fingers?
It feels the warmth coming in, a little tingly.
Great. And there's just two more questions. If you could smell this warm orange, tingly, electric surge, radiating, limitless sensation, what would it smell like?
Fresh air.
Beautiful. Great. And then one last question. You could put all these images and things you would hear, and this sense of ease and grace and all as well, and this orange, light, energetic surge, smells like fresh air. If you could put all this stuff in your mouth and you could taste it, what would it taste like?
Bursting with flavor. Bursting with flavor. What flavor would it taste like? Probably strawberry blissfulness.
You said strawberry?
Yeah, probably strawberry blissfulness or something.
Strawberry blissfulness. Awesome. Great. So beautiful job. So you've just translated for yourself what the experience of this not being stressful is like on a deep level. And now that you've done that, does it seem more possible that it could not be stressful, or what is your experience about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. I can reframe it and start to, when I'm sitting at my desk feeling the fear come up, bring up the visual in my mind of what that feels like to be free of it and start to shift the energy.
Beautiful, great. Yeah, so that's the power of doing some visioning work on this deep level, which is both visual and in your body and so on. So I promised, I know we're running out of time, I promised I would tell people, if you're interested in how you can take this further, how you can apply this to your life. So I have 4 valuable gifts for you, and they are at bit.ly/your soul guide gifts. And I think we have the link on the
the link will be in the email.
Yeah. Okay, good. You'll see the link there. And one of the gifts is the Vision Board Masterclass I talked about. One of them is my ebook, How to Tap into Your Trusted Guidance, which is about how to access more deeply your own inner knowings to help you guide yourself forward. And then the biggest gift is really the opportunity to apply to receive a complimentary Grow Your Dreams discovery session with me. And this is if you feel stuck or frustrated in any area of your life or your business, and you want to be freed up for success, fulfillment, and happiness, love, to finally fulfill your dream. If you want to really uproot what's in your way, this is for you. And this is a private one-on-one consultation by phone. It's valued at $450. I also do them over Skype if you're not in the U.S. And we look at your goals and your gifts, your challenges and your actions, your dreams, what you wrote about in the DIG exercise. And we together discover what is the single most important thing you can do to get out of your own way so you can really leap forward to be your best self and grow your dreams into reality. And on that page with my 4 gifts, there's an application. You can apply for this opportunity to receive a complimentary Grow Your Dreams discovery session. I have very limited availability for these free sessions, so please apply only if you're serious about getting unstuck, really moving forward with power. And I'll let you know if you get one of these spots, and I hope you do. So all those gifts are at the link there, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you and supporting you if you feel moved to do that. I look forward to talking to you directly.
Well, thanks so much for offering all those free gifts, and I definitely want to talk about something before we close, because
Yes.
This whole summit is about, happiness is your own damn fault and how to drop the baggage, increase your frequency, and live a bliss-filled life. So I'd love to give all my experts an opportunity to talk about what living your bliss or living a bliss-filled life actually means to you today and what that looks like for you, if you wouldn't mind sharing for a moment.
It's a really beautiful question. I love it. It actually looks for me like in the moment, realizing moment by moment, because when I too, like, even though you do a lot of work and you can help a lot of other people, you still have stuff to deal with yourself.
Yep. You just keep peeling more layers.
Exactly. Thank goodness we don't have to be perfect to be useful to other people and to be able to be a contribution, because we never get there. So for myself, I still sometimes have fear about things, or I still sometimes have doubts. And what makes me feel so blissful, actually, is in the moment, just letting myself feel that fear, like listen to it, and then actually realize, like, oh my goodness, that's not the truth of who I am. I've done this enough to actually be able to have a very profound experience, even if I'm in that fear of being able to shift to, like, I know that fear is there, but it's really not who I am in a profound way. I can listen to it and hear what it has to tell me, what it's trying to tell me to pay attention to, but I also have the freedom to step out of it, which I didn't have even I don't know, a few months ago. It's just like a new thing, which is just blissing me out. Like I cry tears of joy. No kidding. When I realize, like, oh my God, this isn't the truth. I'm just making it up. It's amazing. So it's also, it allows me to be so present with my soulmate, my husband. I'm so grateful and blissed out that I can be with this amazing human being. We support each other so profoundly. So that to me is the essence of bliss. Really, is just being able to recognize when you're in the not bliss, and not ignore it, not pretend it's not true, but just realize, oh my goodness, I don't have to be here at all, and I can shift it so that I can take actions that are much more empowered and positive than I would ever be able to take when I'm in the fear. I'm really grateful to have learned how to do this. Thank you.
Right, absolutely. And before we go, Pam, do you have any parting words of wisdom you might want to share with our audience?
Oh, my goodness. I think the most important thing you can possibly do to be your best self, to live your best life, is to access your own inner guidance, to really pay attention to that knowing inside of you. And if you have any trouble doing that, or you want some tools to help you, one of my gifts is this how to tap into your inner guidance ebook. It's really powerful. It's something I really recommend highly for you to do. There's really nothing you can do more importantly than to start listening to your own deep truth and to accessing that. So that is my highest recommendation. And one of the things I love to help people do is get out of their own way and really hearing that and listening to it also.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Pam. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you here. And before we wrap up, I just want to take a moment and just remind everyone that happiness is an inside job, and it's equally available to everyone. We're living in a time now where we can choose to drop whatever baggage we've been carrying around. We can drop the old stories. We don't need them anymore. It starts with a choice. You are powerful beyond measure, and all you need to do is tap into the divine power that created you and follow the guidance you were given. You were born to be happy, experience joy, and live an abundant, blissed out, and spacious life. I want to hear from you, so hit reply to this email and share your thoughts with me. Pam, it's been such a wonderful interview having you here, and an honor for you to share your gifts with the world and us, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love that we're just so on the same page about this. It's great.
It's great.
Thank you so much.